Guys,
Hey,
we're here
everyone.
in Belfast in Northern Ireland and we're about to record a BBC radio interview.
Yeah, we don't really know what it's for or how it's going to be used yet. The journalist did not answer our questions on email.
So we thought we would record the conversation just in case he tries to sort of put us in a corner, I guess.
Yeah, just in case anything interesting comes out of it. It could be a good YouTube video. We're always a little bit suspicious when a journalist doesn't answer your questions before an interview.
And we asked repeatedly, didn't we?
Yes, so let's see how we go.
Seems like he was evading the question.
Yeah, it's supposed to be about vegan activism, which is obviously great. Let's hope that's what he sticks to talking about. We'll see.
A very good afternoon. It's Sunny and Shay on BBC WM 95.6. Now, if you in recent months have been thinking and trying to be more health conscious, then of course you'll know that around about 2.5 months ago, I decided to take the plunge and go vegan. After being vegetarian. I've been vegetarian for 30 plus years. And to be honest, I haven't looked back. And the same is true of husband and wife from Australia, who actually feel that giving up meat has saved their marriage. And as soon as I heard about this, we had to talk to them.
Because your marriage is on the rocks, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about that, but we're joined now by Natasha and Luca, who are known online as That Vegan Couple.
Brilliant.
And the good news is that they're coming to Birmingham at the start of September to conduct a workshop about the benefits of veganism. Natasha, Luca, a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure to be here, guys. Thanks for having us.
Now, our first question for you two, where on earth did you read about that?
See, the thing is that we found out about you guys and we were like, hold on a minute. This is because me and Shay are a married couple and we talk about our problems on air and our joys on air as well. And our changes in life. So when we heard about, some of the articles that we read, we were like, hold on a minute, this is a diet that got you guys together. That intrigued us straight away. Now, how much of that is true and how much of it isn't?
It's about zero true.
Really?
I don't know where you got that from.
Yeah,
no, not by a long shot, guys.
No, we've been together 20 years, guys, but only been vegan 7, so...
7 years. So why did you become vegan?
Well, first of all, we ate, for the first 30 years of our lives, we ate all animal products, meat, dairy, eggs, honey, everything. We wore animals. We were members of our local zoo. What else did we do?
Well, we bought products tested on animals and containing animal ingredients.
Yes.
So basically, you were doing everything that everyone else was doing on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Because we're all raised the same way. We're raised told that eating, using and wearing animals is normal, natural and necessary.
So some of us ever question it.
Yeah. And then we ended up going vegetarian first because we watched something and the blinders started coming off. We realised, right, we don't want to contribute to the death of animals. So we stopped eating meat. But what we didn't know at that time was the truth behind the dairy and egg industries. And so we kept going as vegetarians, but then about 2.5 years later, we came across Gary Yourofsky's best speech ever on YouTube. And when we watched that, we learned more. We got the full education, and that's when we decided that vegan was the least we could do.
And when you take a step like this, now Shay, she's been a vegetarian all her life, and I'm someone who is a meat eater, but then I'm looking for ethically sourced meat and all of those things that I can do so that the meat I'm eating is in the right, in the right way, looked after and produced. But it doesn't always work for me. But when it comes to Shay, she's always looked upon, I'm going to go towards veganism slowly. Was this an overnight change for you guys when it came to becoming vegan? And did you look for meat substitutes, which I found some of my friends did do when they were doing these little stints of being vegetarian or vegan?
Well, Sonny, we can very much relate to what you're experiencing at the moment because before we went vegetarian, we started to get a little more conscious and we started to try to source more, as you say, ethically raised meat. And it was only when we went vegan that we realized, you know what? These animals, regardless of how they're raised, ultimately, in order to end up as food for us to consume, they have to be killed. And so we thought, well, how do you humanely kill someone who doesn't want to die? And of course, no one really ever has a good answer for that, even if you think about it for a long time. And so then we realized, well, vegan is the least we can do from a moral perspective.
Yeah. Because regardless, as Lucas said, of the farms that these animals come from, their treatment, they all end up in the same place. They all end up in a slaughterhouse. And if we think about it, it's a house of slaughter. So nothing nice happens in a house of slaughter. That's why we avoid watching videos that show us slaughterhouse footage. We never take our children to a slaughterhouse, do we? It's something horrific. It's a place of gross atrocities. So we try to avoid that. And when we realize that all the animals that are bred for food end up in this place, well, how can we do that nicely, as Luca said? So once we turned vegan, we actually didn't use any of the substitutes. We were in Asia at the time, and their diet is largely plant-based anyway. So
yes,
all we had to do was we took out a bit of egg that was remaining in our largely plant-based diet at the time, and that was it for us. But the great thing is that these days there are so many plant-based alternatives that really you can eat virtually the exact same diet that you're currently eating in the vegan version. So you're just substituting one product for another, and there you go. It's so simple.
What I find quite fascinating about yourself is, you know, as husband and wife, you've obviously taken what is a real passion of yours, and you've gone online with it. So, you know, you have your regular podcast, you alongside that have your book, and your website contains your blogs as well. And through that, even though you're in Australia, you are reaching people here in the UK. You've got your meetup and activism workshops as well to kind of motivate and inspire vegans. Why was it, let's ask both of you on this, why was it important, Natasha and then Luca, for you to kind of get that, I guess, vegan lifestyle out there on social media? And, you know, you've amassed such a following of people who really do kind of look up to what you say. Why was that important for you, Natasha, and then you, Luca?
Excellent question, Shay. The answer to that is very simple. It's our tagline that we've used for so many years on our YouTube channel. Going vegan is not the most we can do. It's the least we can do. So what we realized was the next step we need to take is to become active vegans, to become activists. And we got on social media because, you know, we actually didn't really like the idea of social media. But we noticed that everybody was on these smartphones and they're all looking at these screens and we're thinking, well, you know what? We might as well get ourselves on those screens because they're watching something, so they might as well be watching us and hearing about veganism,
exactly,
right? So we found it's the
we
found it was the most efficient and effective way to spread the message to the most amount of people because it's all about education. We didn't make the change until we got the full education. So that's what we're all about, and we just find that being online and being able to reach people all around the world, all corners of the globe, all walks of life, just sitting in our living room, recording videos or podcasts or whatnot, it's fabulous. So that's why we use it.
And for yourself, Luca, how has that been for you? Because I know that podcast, you know, has become so popular and it's something that, as Natasha just said, people can access anywhere in the world. Yeah,
Shay, you're right. And I think one of the compelling factors in terms of why we decided to get on social media and use our website, our YouTube channel, our podcast, Instagram, Facebook, in order to spread the vegan message is because industry is not telling us the truth behind the products that they're selling us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we feel like we have a moral obligation to inform consumers, because I know that when we found out what was going on and what was being deliberately kept hidden in the dark by industry, we felt duped. I spoke with a woman in Dublin the other day as we were having an outreach demonstration, and she said she'd recently gone vegan herself, and when I think she'd been vegetarian as well, and then when she found out the truth behind the dairy and egg industries, she said, I felt hoodwinked. And so I think a lot of people, everybody, the vast majority of people are good people who have simply been raised and taught to do bad things towards animals because we've been taught that it's normal, natural and necessary. But I think, we felt this moral obligation to show people, hey guys, industry's not being, honest with us. They're lying to us. They're pushing this, organic, free-range, local, humane, grass-fed, antibiotic-free, hormone-free myth. Because ultimately, as we said, these animals are all ending up in the slaughterhouse having a knife drawn across their throats. And no good person really wants to support that deep down in their heart. So that's why we thought we'd use social media to inform and educate people.
So I've got to talk to you about my journey, because I am South Asian. My family are from North India. So as I'm sure you'll be aware, there's a fantastic, rich vegetarian diet that comes with, coming from a background like that, which I've grown up on. But what has been the hardest thing for me, and I never realized that I was actually addicted to cheese until I went vegan, was just how much I miss cheese and how we have cheese in every single product. We don't have cheese in every single product. If I'm eating Indian food, I'll get to have the lentils, the chickpeas, the kidney beans, and it's just fantastic. And I can even have, my pakoras and samosas, and I'm fine, and it's vegan. Yay, happy day. But it's the cheese that has been such a nightmare for me. How did you find that? Was there a particular thing that you didn't realize you were addicted to? Because I genuinely didn't realize how, and I say that now, how I was addicted. And I don't think addicted to anything is a good thing. Too much of anything is a bad thing, right? So being addicted to that for me has been kind of a realization over these last couple of months of, okay, that's not good for me. What was the one thing that was the hardest for you to give up when you went vegan?
Well, first of all, I have to say, Shay, I knew you were going to say cheese. and that's because virtually every conversation we have with people, especially vegetarians, they all say, oh, yeah, look, I could give up meat. That's not too bad. I can give up milk. That's a bit weird to drink the, breast milk of another species. We're not baby cows. But, I can't give up cheese. Everyone says that. We're addicted to cheese.
That was me.
Yeah, we've heard it so many times over. So I thought, I bet she's going to say cheese. Now, the reason is we are actually addicted to cheese. It's not just, I'm addicted. We literally are addicted. And that's because there's something in dairy milk from a cow. It's called casomorphins. And when we make cheese, these things are concentrated in cheese. So they're amplified. Now, what this is, it basically makes the baby calf want to come back to suckle from the mother.
Right.
So
okay.
nature's very smart, right? We need the baby to come back to drink the milk, to grow nice and big and strong. So there's an addictive substance in there. And so when we concentrate milk into a cheese block, we become literally addicted to this substance, and we want it more and more and more. We just can't get enough cheese. So we put cheese on top of cheese, and we stuff pizza crusts with it, and we put it in.
That's me.
We put it in things that you think, why is there cheese on that? It's just like,
Guys,
that's
I was
weird.
having cheese with lentils and chapatis.
Yeah.
I mean, that is embarrassing, right? Cheese with lentils. I mean, honestly.
That's the thing. I mean, we've been to India 3 times now, and Indian food, of course, as you said, is it's largely vegetarian. It's so easy to make vegan. It's so easy. Mostly they use ghee.
That's right.
Right? So you take that out and it's pretty simple, but cheese is not part of the diet. So to hear this from you really shows the strong Western influence and the addiction that it has. For us, sorry.
I was just going to say, just going back to casomorphins for a moment, just for emphasis, the morphins comes from morphine, which of course is a very addictive substance. And Dr. Neil Barnard, who is the president of the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine for the last 35 years, he has a wonderful book called The Cheese Trap, where he talks more about the addictive qualities of cheese and why everybody practically who eats it is physically addicted to it.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to look into that. That's going to be reading for me for the summer.
Absolutely, it's a great resource. So back to your question, Shay. You asked what we had struggled.
What were you addicted to? Yeah.
Yeah. Look, interestingly, there was nothing that I kind of feel that we were addicted to. I think, actually, you would be interested in this story. The reason why we went vegetarian was because we were in India, in southern India, and we went to an ashram. And they had a vegetarian diet. So we went from, heavy meat eaters straight into this ashram. We were there for 3 months. And we had full intention of leaving the ashram and going straight back to our regular Western diets. But of course, we had to eat vegetarian in there. Now, initially, we were thought, this is absolute rubbish. We miss meat so much. We're doing yoga, we're doing meditation, and I'm visualizing little lamb chops and bacon in my mind. I'm sure I can smell it.
Yoga, and you're thinking of lamb chops.
Absolutely. I mean, it was almost 30 years of my life at that point, and all I wanted was meat. I loved meat. Yeah. But then we watched the film
Diet for a New America, which was based on the book by the same name by John Robbins from back in 1990.
And that was the first time that we saw anything about animal agriculture. We'd never even considered anything. And we watched this film, and it was in a hall with about 300 other people. Most of them were already vegetarian. And our jaws dropped. We could not believe what we were watching on this screen. End of the movie, lights come on, everybody's clapping. Rapturous applause. Luca and I sitting there, we looked at each other, we went, F. looks like we're going to have to be vegetarian now. Couldn't believe it, right? So it was like the blinders came off. So basically, our first 3 months was just a forced detox, if you like, of no meat. There was no eggs and virtually no dairy either. There was a little bit of ghee, I think, at one point, but it was 99.9% a vegan diet for 3 months, and that was just jumping straight into it. And then after that, look, when we went vegan, we were in Southeast Asia, so they didn't have a huge amount of dairy in the diet. It was just a bit of egg. So I feel like just because of the circumstances of where we lived during those transitional times, we kind of let go of all of those typical addictions.
But had
the heads up,
yeah. But had we had them, the great thing is, as we spoke about earlier, there is a vegan substitute for all of the products that we all love and adore these days in 2018. We got the meat, we got the eggs, we got the milk, cheese, cream, butter, ice cream, the lot of it. It's
everything. There. In fact, we tried the Beyond Meat burger recently. We were in the United States.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't know if you guys have tried it yet, but...
Not yet. I'm waiting for it to come around here. I want to try it at some point. So what was it actually... Did it taste like meat?
It took us back 10 years, so we haven't had meat for 10 years.
Wow.
And we were like, wow.
The very first bite was wow.
The texture is so similar. The taste is very similar. You put it in a burger with all the fixings, and I tell you what, you can't even really tell.
You wouldn't know.
No.
I've got to ask you both, just finally, because you're coming to Birmingham Saturday, 1st September at the 3 Threes Coffee Lounge on Martigny Way in Birmingham City Centre. And it's very much an activist workshop and outreach as well. So is this welcome for everybody to come along and to meet with you and to kind of give their thoughts as well?
Absolutely, Shay. The more the merrier. Everybody is welcome, and we can't wait to hit Birmingham and say hi to the people and have a great morning and afternoon of outreach and activism together.
Yes, and please, if you are vegan coming along, bring a non-vegan with you.
Yes, good idea. I think that's a brilliant idea.
Just talking to both of you, you can tell how you're not you're not judgmental in any way, which I think is so important.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can completely get why your podcast is so successful, because you're so likable as a husband and wife, and I suspect that there's going to be many people who are now going to be interested in coming on the Saturday, 1st September. Listen, a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. It was lovely speaking to another almost vegan couple.
Almost.
Half, 50.
Half. I'm definitely there.
Yeah.
Sunny will take a bit of time, but we'll try. We can try.
Sonny, you just have to take a leaf out of Sonny and Sher's book and say, you know what, Shay, I got you, babe.
I got you, babe.
Drop the mic, Luca. That was perfect.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Natasha and Luca. You take care.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks for having us, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again so much, guys. We'll tweet you as soon as we air this interview. And apologies about the introduction. We will edit that out, okay? So
That's
I'm
all
sorry
right,
about
no problem.
that confusion.
Yeah, we made those kind of relationship changes long before we went vegan. So.
Fair enough. That's
Brilliant.
fine. We'll address that.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much, and thanks
Thank
for
you
going
so much,
vegan,
guys.
Shay.
Thanks,
Cheers.
guys.
Oh, no, appreciate
Take
it.
care, guys.
Take care. Thanks again.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, well, that went well.
It went really well.
They were sweet.
Lovely couple. Yeah,
very
really
good.
nice.
Isn't that interesting? Like, we were expecting the worst, and we were all prepared. I was a little like, all right, don't say anything to, tick them off. But
no,
that was really lovely.
That was really, really, really nice.
Yeah,
I really appreciate being given the platform to talk about veganism in such a positive light.
Yeah, and how amazing that Shay is already vegan. And I think that makes a huge difference, doesn't it? When one person has already made that connection, and they're obviously not going to grill you the way two non-vegans may. Yeah, so there you go. Thanks for watching, and thanks BBC.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.